Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Ray with Lifesaver Graphics. Today what I'm going to do is show you how to take an image and take that image and convert it in Photoshop and Illustrator so your Lightburn can read it, and then you can burn that image on your galvo laser or gantry laser, CO2, whatever you have. Okay, so just follow me through these steps. I'm gonna be going step by step on how to take that image and convert it to where it's printable on your laser. Okay, so once you have your image, as you can see right here, this is a fire extinguisher label. You take that image, and first thing we're going to do is open it up in Photoshop. Now you do have to have a subscription to Photoshop, Illustrator, the Adobe Suite, Cloud, Dilly. Okay, now once it's up in Photoshop, as you can see the images here, what we're going to do is we're going to come up to right here, you see images, and then we're going to image size. Now most images that you pull off the internet, they're going to be a low resolution, but that's okay. We're going to fix that. We're going to make that 600, and we're going to change the width to 5000. Now you don't have to worry about the height because this chain is linked. If this chain is linked, then this is going to size appropriately. Okay, give it a second. It'll do its job and resize. Okay, see it got real big, so I'm going to take it down. Okay, so after you've resized the image, you're going to come back up here to Image, go to Adjustments, and then on Adjustments, scroll down till you see Threshold. Click Threshold, and then you can see the image slightly changed here. And you take this slider and you move it back and forth, and you'll see the image will get darker and lighter as you move the slider. Move this slider to where you can see the type good, and then you can also see the image clearly as well. Okay, once you got pretty good setting, hit OK. Okay, pretty simple so far. Now once you've done that, come up here to File, and we're going to save. We're going to save at the maximum. Okay, now we're done with Photoshop. So now here's my image. I'm going to open this image up in Adobe Illustrator. Okay, this is where it gets a little bit tricky, but it's not too bad. Okay, do one single click on the image, and you can kind of see this box, this pre-made box in the back right here. Let's resize this to where it fits in that box. So come up here, grab a corner, bring it down. See, as I bring it down, it's kind of warping. We don't want that. So I'm going to hit Shift, and when I hit Shift, no matter what I do, the size stays proportion. Okay, so I'm going to take that down to about right there to where it fits in the box. Now this is very important. See how it's not highlighted? You must click on it, and then you'll get these little square boxes around the box. Okay, let me bring that to where you can see it a little bit. Okay, see here the little squares on the square box. That just means you have it selected. Okay, so once you have it selected, we're going to come up here to Object. Okay, and then we're going to come on down to Image Trace. Okay, see this image trace? And then we're going to Make. So right now Adobe Illustrator is tracing this image. Okay, once it gets finished tracing the image, go ahead and select Properties. Okay, this image is still selected. You can see it kind of looks a little bit different since it did its tracing. Okay, hit Expand. You'll see Expand right here. Okay, and now once that has expanded, you see it kind of highlights it bluish. It kind of outlines it blue. Now If you don't have the expand over here, you can always come up here to object, and then expand is also right here. Okay, but it's very important to expand after you do an image trace. Okay, so to kind of give you an idea of what I'm doing, I'm going to slide this image off to the gray. Okay, I'm going to resize this a little bit, move it over where you can see it. And then I'm going to come up here to layers. So you have these three tabs. Layers is in the middle. Okay, and then you have this arrow. That's the image. And then you click the arrow, and then every one of these little black marks and white marks are layers. Okay, so this image trace is now made of multiple layers. But what we want to do is we want the laser to be able to read this image. Right now, the laser wouldn't read this image very good. Okay, we have to get rid of this white. So there's a couple ways of doing that. The way I like to do it the best is I like to come over here to the layers, and I find the white boxes. I know that if there's a white box and it doesn't have something in it, I'm going to be removing white. So as you can see over here to the left, you have an eyeball. You click the eyeball and it turns that particular white section off. You click and hold and drag, then you'll see here in a second that all the white is starting to disappear. Okay, and this is very important to do when you're taking this image and putting it in Lightburn. Okay, just you have to be sure that you're only taking the white boxes off. See how I stopped right here? White box, and then you have a white box with a black mark in it. Okay, leave those alone. If you take those off, you're going to be erasing some of the image that you actually want to laser on your project, whatever it is. I do a lot of tumblers and wallets and stuff. Okay, so I'm just scrolling up here and I'm trying to find white boxes with nothing in them. Okay, and in some images, especially this one that has a lot of type on it, you're going to have a lot of boxes. So continue to scroll down, looking for white boxes, almost to the end. Okay, so as you can see up here, you got black and then you got a bunch of white boxes. So again, click the eyeball, drag down, you're erasing all that white that's in the image. You don't need it for Lightburn. And there are easier ways to do this. This is just how I've kind of taught myself how to do it. Okay, getting real close to the end, and you can see exactly what I'm saying. You'll just basically have what looks like a stencil of what you're wanting to burn. Let's put that back on there. Take a second to fill. See if that's going to fill or not. Yeah, let's take that off. Nope, see it filled. My computer's running a little bit slow. It's kind of old. Okay, we are down at the bottom. Now, if you notice, you got all this black, 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 black. Usually in the last couple boxes, you'll have the main white spots. Okay, so we're just going to turn that off and turn that off. Now, you can see the image has no white in it. Okay, this is what Lightburn is going to read. That's what's going to be burned onto whatever you're burning onto. Okay, so another important step, again, make sure it looks like a stencil here. Okay, another very important step is when you're saving this. Okay, come up to File, you want to Save As. Go ahead and name it whatever you want to name it. Click Save. Now, in order for Lightburn to read this, you have to come up here to Version, click the little arrow, and go down to Illustrator 8. Okay? Click on Illustrator 8. OK. And that will enable Lightburn to read this. If you click on anything else, you're going to have you'll have trouble. So don't click on anything else. Just do the Illustrator 8. Save it as that. Okay, and as you can see, there's my AI file. Now, to put it in Lightburn, hopefully, you know, a lot of you have Lightburn. If you don't, I'm not sure how EasyCAD works. I've never worked with it. It may work relatively the same. I have no idea. But as far as Lightburn goes, we're going to go ahead and open this up, and I actually have the image already there. But I'm going to put it off to the side for a second and show you how to import it. So you come up to File, Import, and then you go to wherever your file is, which on this particular one, it's not in this folder. I do have one saved in that folder, but it's not there. It's in this ext right here. I'm going to click on it. Boom, there it is. Okay, there is my image. Now, most of the images that you bring in here, they'll have two different layers. They'll have like the black layer, and then they'll have like an outline of a layer. Okay, I don't, that's this one you see right here, this line. I always get rid of this. I don't know if that's right or not, but I get rid of it. Okay, because all I can do is see it causing me problems, so it doesn't cause any problems if I do get rid of it. So I get rid of it. Okay, so there's my image. Now I'm going to come up to Preview. If you're in Lightburn, this little screen here is Monitor. Click on it, and this is kind of a preview of what you're going to be burning onto your project, whatever it is. Okay, you can take this little slider here, and it kind of shows you how the laser is going to burn onto your project. Okay, and then it'll also give you an estimated time down here, which this says 28 minutes. This doesn't take 28 minutes, but it's an estimated time. Okay, so where is it going to burn? Okay, looking at this, where it's going to burn, you know, the stencil, if you remember, was black. Okay, the black is where it's going to burn. So if you're burning a tumbler, the tumbler will burn, okay, right here, or the laser will burn right here rather, and the tumbler will be silver or aluminum there, okay, a silver color. Where it's red, that's where the laser is going to pass over and not burn. You can actually come down here to invert, and it also shows you exactly where the laser is going to burn, which is going to be all this white. Okay, kind of give you an idea of what it looks like when it's burned onto your project. Okay, so let's go ahead and close that. Okay, now from here we have to set up the laser, so let's get that started. Okay, so here we are at the laser. I have a Raycus. It's a 50-watt laser. Now, something that nobody told me is you get on these Facebook forums and everybody's got the JPT and the MOPAs and all this stuff. Those have a higher frequency range than this particular laser. This laser has a frequency range of about 50 to 100. Okay, so that's not a whole lot to it's not a big margin to mess with. And most of the people's on the Facebook, the groups, they have the JPTs, and theirs goes from 0 on up to whatever. So when they start giving you settings, their settings are probably not going to be within that range of the Raycus, this particular Raycus, which is 50 to 100. Okay, so just some side note, wish somebody would have told me that. So we have your tumbler here, okay, and we have a rotary tool. First thing we're going to do is put the tumbler on the rotary tool. Okay, like so. Grab your key. I wouldn't get it on there too tight. If you get it on there too tight, you kind of warp the edge here. And if you spin it, you should have, it should be straight. Okay, there shouldn't be a kind of a wonky warpedness to it. So after you have it on there, you have to level this. Okay, this has to be level to the laser lens, and how you do that is you get a little level. Okay, right now it is not level, so I'll come back here with an Allen wrench and move this tumbler up until that bubble gets in between my lines and makes it level, which is right there. Okay, and then tighten that back down. Now it's level. The next step is you have a focal distance between your lens and then the project that you're working on. Okay, on this particular lens, I believe it's a 420 millimeter. It does a really large area. Okay, so the focal distance is a little more forgiving than if you was to use a smaller one. If you go down in a number like 100 and something millimeter lens, the focal distance is really tight. The tolerance is tight. This is a little bit more forgiving. Okay, so here I have a focal stick, and I'm going to put this up here on my lens, and as you can see, it's too far down. I need to get it right up here where the laser is going to be engraving. So I'm going to roll up to about right there is where the laser is going to be engraving. Okay, got those two steps out of the way. Very important. Make sure whatever your project is that you are laser engraving is level. Okay, very important. And then also make sure your focal distance is set properly. Okay, now next let's go to the computer. Okay, so a couple of things we need to do before we start arranging this and putting it on our tumbler is we're going to put it off to the side. Now if you're new to Lightburn, just a side note here, when you don't want something to be laser engraved, take it off of this board. Okay, if you have it on the board, if you start moving stuff around, you have this on the board up here, and let's say for instance we have it again right here, and this is what we're lasering. Once the laser burns this, it's going to come up here and try to burn this. Okay, so it's very important to take whatever you have and put it off to the left or to the right. Okay, if you put it on top or bottom, it may grab it and try to laser it as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and get rid of that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to prep the laser to the tumbler. Okay, so and how I do that, and what I mean by that is I'm going to come up here to the pencil, and I'm going to get on this line right here. Okay, I'm going to click, hit shift, okay, and stretch that line out. Let go. Well, let's do that again. Let go. Okay, see it's kind of still stuck on there. Go ahead and escape, and that'll go away. Come back to the arrow. Okay, now I have this line on the board. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to shift this line to, you'll see on the tumbler, a laser marking. Okay, and what I want is I want this line to be right in the dead center of the tumbler. Okay, and then that's where we're going to put the laser, and it's very important. Okay, so let me show you on the laser real quick. In Lightburn, you saw the line that I drew. I'm going to go ahead and frame that line, which you'll see it'll light up right there. You see it lighten up on the tumbler. Now what I have to do is I have to move this line to where it's right in the center of this tumbler. Okay, so you just move the arrow keys on your keyboard, and then you get it to where it's best lined up right in the center, which that's not very good, so we're going to move it over just a little bit. Still don't like that. Center it some more. Okay, so that's pretty much dead center. So when this laser starts putting that label on here, it needs to be dead center. Okay, because if it's over here, then it's just gonna make it all cattywampus. It's gonna be wrong. So draw your line. Make sure your line is in the center of the tumbler. And as you notice, the line originally was here in the center line, right here. And to make it in the center of the tumbler, it had to come up here. So now we're going to take this label, and we need to put it dead center of that line. Well, the easiest way to do that is select whatever you're doing first, whatever you're laser engraving first, and then secondly, you'll shift on the line. Hit shift and click on the line, and then up here in your alignment tool, you click on it and align H center. See how it went to the center of the line? Okay, so now we know that this will be on the center of the tumbler. This line here, you can either delete it, or what I do is I just take it off, to the right or the left. Make sure it's not on my board. Okay. And now this label, don't move it up or down, but you can move it side to side. Okay, and you'll need to move it side to side depending on where you want to put it on the tumbler. Okay, so next, what's important to do is over here in the cuts and layers box, we have settings. Okay, and these settings are going to be different with everything that you do, whether it's a tumbler, a wallet, silver jewelry, whatever. Okay. On this particular tumbler, I know for red, what I need is 150 speed, max power of 35. My frequency is 50, since I'm limited on frequency, remember, 50 to 100. My line interval is going to be 0.04. Don't worry about lines per inch. My scan angle is 0. Yours might be 90. Mine's 0. Number of passes, 1. You can make 2 passes if you think that you need 2. Or what I do is up here, this little copy button, I'll hit it and it just copied what this one was. Okay, it's going to laser engrave that, and it's going to turn back around and it's going to laser engrave this. The very same thing, same settings, 150, 35. Okay, that's how I do it, other than doing number of passes. Now, on your tumblers, tumbler colors, every tumbler color may use a different speed and max power. Okay, if you want to use, if you're not for sure what the settings are on a particular colored tumbler, especially Yetis, I don't use Yetis because, you know, if you mess up on a Yeti, it costs you 30, 40, 50, however much they are. It costs you a lot of money. If you buy your own tumblers, it's substantially cheaper. So a conservative number, speed of 150, max power, I would do 25 or 30 on my max power. And what I would do is I do multiple rolls until I got a good engraving. Okay, just something to think about. Like I said, nice conservative setting, 150, 35. Okay, and then let's go to, let's close this down. Make sure you hit OK, not cancel, so it saves the settings. Go up here to these two little arrows that are following each other. Rotary setup. Make sure it is enabled. I have a chuck rotary, so I have that check marked. My particular rotary is 12,800 steps per rotation. Okay, that's very important to know if you're new to this game, what your rotary tool's step per rotation is. If it's off, your image is going to be off. Okay, so find that out. I think Alex from Laser Everything has a great tutorial on it. Okay, another important thing to put in is the object diameter. You get that by getting some calipers and measuring the diameter of whatever you are laser engraving, like a tumbler, something cylindrical. Okay, and I know that mine is 85.91. So we're good here, we're good there, we're turned on, we're gonna hit OK. All right, now it's time to burn this thing. Okay, so it's going to get a little bit loud because I have this ventilation on and also the lasers on. But just to recap what we've done, we've put the tumbler on here. It doesn't wobble, it's not too tight on the rotary chucks. We've leveled it out. We've got our focal distance, okay? So we got the center line. That's where our label is going to go. And we have our power settings. A rotary tool turned on. We are ready to burn. So let's start burning. Okay, I'm going to frame it. It's going to light it up. So that's basically lighting up where the label is going to go. Okay. Make sure I'm not too close to this lip. Make sure I'm not too far down here. You put that wherever you like. Going to hit start and roll it. Okay, now it's going to roll around. It's going to do it one more time. And on a red tumbler, I know that this is pretty much my cleanup engraving. So now it's going to get it to where it's cleaned up. It's cleaned up all the extra little red residue that may be in where the silver part is. And if it discolors the metal a little bit, it gets a little dark, no problems. We'll use some chemicals that I'm fixing to show you and a magic eraser to get those off, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so the laser engraving is finally done. It took about 20 minutes. I went ahead and sped that up for you so you didn't have to wait 20 minutes. Okay, so now I'm going to go into cleanup. So remove the tumbler. And you can see it's a little dusty. And the metal is, it's kind of a gray color. It's not silver. But we're going to fix that with this Totally Awesome. This will shine it up, along with the magic eraser. Okay, so now we're just going to go ahead and spray on there, or you could spray on the magic eraser and then just rub back and forth. And you can see this is becoming silver. This is still kind of gray. It's a little bit of work, but no problem. I usually go both ways. So I'll go up and down, then I'll go side to side. If you need a little bit more fluid, just put more fluid on there. Maybe do some circles, whatever, kind of get down in the lettering. And that's it. Well, that's it from start to finish. Hopefully I've mentioned all the steps that you must achieve, like your focal distance, your leveling, all the important steps. Hopefully it was helpful to you, whether you're new to laser engraving or you're thinking about getting into laser engraving. Remember those steps when you're dealing with the galvo laser. There are gantry lasers that have a different process, but very similar. I want to thank Alex and the people at Laser Everything on their YouTube channel. I sure have learned a lot from them as well. I think the final product turned out really good. I'm sure somebody will suck this up and buy it. If you're interested, you can like, subscribe my YouTube channel. I also have a Facebook and Instagram. I'm always posting what I'm doing today type of thing. All right, thanks for stopping by. Hope you learned something. See you on the next one.